19 points on 5 of 9 shooting. Gerald Green's one of those guys where he gets on, he is going to be dangerous. He's a guy that can keep you in the game with his shooting, but he also can outshoot you out of games. Speaking of Winslow, I mentioned earlier, 5 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. You're wondering, okay, what's so special about that? The dunk he had on, and then Gerald Green, they went back to back on dunks. Got the Heat electrified, the crowd going. It capped off a 20-4 run that the Hornets were dominating the game, and then the Heat just changed the momentum of the game with those plays by Winslow, defensive plays, and then like I said, the dunk. You got to catch it out. We'll have it on Full Court Press on Facebook. It'll be up sometime this morning where he facial first game, and it sparked the Heat. For the Hornets, they were actually looking good in the first part of the game. Al Jefferson was just destroying Hassan Whiteside with post moves, his footwork, everything was in place. But the problem was they stopped giving him the ball. He had all 17 of his points in the first half. Kemba Walker struggled from the floor. The rest of the team struggled. I mean, Walker was 5 of 16. Batum was 3 for 12. Your starting backcourt going 8 for 24. PJ Harrison gave them nothing in a starting role. The team had used a lot of Jeremy Lin with Walker in the backcourt. It's not a bad backcourt. Defensively, it's a terrible backcourt, and the Heat pretty much exposed it, and they took advantage and got the victory. But you got to give Jeremy Lin a lot of credit. 17 points off the bench. Like I said, Walker had 19, but it wasn't an efficient 19 because he missed 11 shots as well too. 407, 378, 3717. You want to get into the talk about that hoop list tonight, this morning actually. A couple more games to go over before we go into tonight's games. Uh, in Phoenix, the Tyson Chandler reunion game didn't go the way of the Suns. The Dallas Mavericks, who was shorthanded, no Chandler Parsons last night. Wes Matthews is still getting himself back into the swing of things. 111-95 over the Suns in the Suns home opener. Raymond Felton, and when I say Raymond Felton, there was a Raymond Felton sight last night. The Mavericks went with a smaller lineup because without Parsons, they moved Wes Matthews to the three. But Raymond Felton, the best game he's had since he's been in New York his first year. 18 points, 6 assists, 7 to 14 from the floor, knocked out a couple 3-pointers. They got 12 from Darren Williams' debut. But the key number is the fact they had 8 players in double figures, and Wes Matthews had 9 points. So they almost everybody who played got double figures. Everybody was contributing. You know, they didn't have to rely on Dirk. Pachulia played solid in his first game. Devin Harris, Barea, Charlie Villanueva. It was a whole team effort, and that was something that the Mavericks are going to have to do going forward because Dirk can't do it every single night. And the good news is that he didn't have to tonight. It was too much heavy lifting. What caused the Suns to lose this game was the fact that the Suns was just shooting terrible from the floor. It was awful. I mean, their starters didn't do very well. 6 to 24 from the 3-point line, and then free throw percentage at 63% because they missed 12 free throws in the game. They were led by Brandon Knight, 15 points on 6-13 shooting, but the real problem was Marcus Morris only played 11 minutes. Bledsoe was 4-12 from the floor. TJ Warren, 4-13. Tilevich, 2 of 10. So this team was missing shots everywhere, and all the guys who were shooting were still shooting when they had to. But the bright spot for Phoenix was rookie Devin Booker, the kid from Kentucky that really didn't play very many minutes there when he was there. 14 points, 3 rebounds in 21 minutes. So that was a nice look going forward. If the Suns can't get it done offensively, especially at the small forward position, because PJ Tucker is, for as good as he is defensively, he doesn't give much more than that. And if Morris is not going to do anything, you're going to have to move him soon. And so the Suns are trying to run more of a full front court pace game. Not really liking it, but it's open the first game, and Hornets got to make some adjustments. They got to get Tyson Chandler more involved. He only played 17 minutes, 3 points, 6 rebounds, so it wasn't much of a impact from Chandler last night in the game. So that was something that had to change going forward. Now he's not really much of an offensive player, but he has to make much of an impact. Speaking of impact and big men, Jonas Valanciunas of the Toronto Raptors last night, he made the biggest impact of any big of center other than Greg Monroe last night. 21 points, 15 rebounds for the Raptors as they open up their season at home with a 106-99 victory over a depleted Pacers front line. DeMar DeRozan, 25 points. He chipped in. Kyle Lowry, 23 points, 6 assists. But the thing with the game was Valanciunas was everywhere. 8 of 11 from the floor, but the 15 rebounds he had. And Dwayne Casey showed confidence in playing Valanciunas, and that was something that you didn't see from the big man last year because of the fact of he was had nights where he was playing good, he had nights where he played bad, and the minutes were never consistent. So if he can get that type of effort and that type of consistency every single night from Valanciunas, the Raptors are going to push themselves even to that elite status in the Eastern Conference. For the Pacers, Paul George was everywhere, did a little bit of everything. 17 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 assists away from a triple double. He held the ball in his hand most of the game. Paul George, the shot wasn't falling, but he did everything else to get everybody else involved. But the problem was they only got 9 points in 28 minutes from Monte Ellis. They needed more scoring out of him. And you got to give credit to the Raptors defense. Corey Joseph, coming off the bench, played some really good defense on DeRozan. They really shut down Monte Ellis. Got to give George Hill credit though. George Hill, a guy doesn't get very much maligned. 19 points for the Pacers. And the final game of the night that we haven't gone over yet, let's talk about the Los Angeles Lakers falling short. And you got to give Minnesota a lot of credit. They've had a long week with the passing of Flip Saunders, and they're going out to LA, and it's an emotional game. And the guy who stepped up the most Kevin Garnett only played 12 minutes, but the guy who stepped the most was Ricky Rubio, a guy that's been much maligned, hasn't been up to the hype that he thought he was supposed to be when he was drafted, ahead of Steph Curry, and the guy that kind of forced Kevin Love out because he took Kevin Love's big space contract, which is another story for another day. 28 points, 14 assists. But here's the thing of Rubio. He was 10 17 4, knocked down 3 pointers. And it was a Ricky Rubio performance I've never seen before. And I was proud to watch him play last night. I mean, Rubio was doing everything on the floor to make this team win. And he only had one turnover. 14 assists, one turnover. They got all of this with Andrew Wiggins only scoring 9 points, but they got 23 points in 28 minutes from Kevin Martin. Kevin Martin is a professional scorer. 23 points, like I said, but most of those points came from the line. Most of the points came from the line. 11 to 12 from the line. So he was drawing fouls, getting contact, and everything else. Number one pick, Karl Towns, 14 points, 12 rebounds, was solid on both ends of the floor. He was game changing, not game changing, but basically he was everywhere on the court. And the Lakers, they had a chance to win the game. They had a missed shot. Randall goes down the court, had Karl Towns at the rim, and Kobe Bryant calls a timeout as Randall is in midstream to get the final shot. We're all thinking Kobe gets the ball, Bryant inbounds, and Lou Williams gets a pick and roll, goes to the basket. Kevin Garnett was brought back in for defensive purposes. I guess kind of altered the way that Williams was taking the shot. Ball falls off the rim. Lakers lose the game, and the T Wolves get the emotional victory. For the Lakers, Kobe 24 points in 28 minutes, but he took 24 shots. Now, 24 shots is not alarming for Kobe Bryant, but what really is alarming is that he took 13 3-pointers. Kobe's game is not three-point shooting. He's never been that type of shooter. He's a high volume shooter, yes. High volume scorer, yes. Not the highest efficiency guy, but he should not be taking 13 3-pointers. The Lakers went 9 35 from the line, for the 3-point line. Bryant should be getting to the line, and that was the main problem. But 21 points in 27 minutes from Lou Williams, which is really good. And Swaggy P, 14 points in 19 minutes. You got to give him those two a lot of credit off the bench. 35 points and an efficient 35 points. Julius Randle I say it's his debut because he only played 6 minutes in his first game. Double-double, 15 and 11. And Roy Hibbert also double-doubled. So the Lakers, it was a rough one, but I think going forward, Kobe has to stop shooting 3-pointers. And so if that's going to be the case for them going forward, that's what they're going to have to do. 407-378-3713 is the number to call into the show. We're going to take a quick break and pay some more bills. We're right back in the morning tip off here on Spreaker.
Are you looking for your dream home? Or are you looking to move out of your current home and find the home to start the next chapter of your life? Look no further. Jim Fouquet with Century 21 Rue Realty is your go-to guy to help you with all your needs. Specializing in West Orange County, Lake County, and Ocoee, his goal is to take care of you from the beginning to the end and is not satisfied until the job is complete. Stop by 401 West Colonial Drive, Suite 7, or give him a call, 321-945-6832. Jim Fouquet with Century 21 Rue Realty.
Looking to expand your reach and following in all platforms of media? Need a jumpstart in expanding your brand to all markets across the world? Sofo is here for you. Sofo means something for everyone, and they help expand your business through all platforms of media. Need to grow on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram? Their experienced team expands your brand and puts your business in places you would have never been before. Call Sofo at 407-607-9862 or follow Sofo LLC on Instagram.
Welcome to Late Night Parents. I'm your host, Ted Hicks. We have a weekly podcast where we sit down and talk with game changers in the sports, technology, education fields. We even do product reviews and giveaways. Why, you ask? Because we're all parents. So if you're ready for an up-close and personal look, then you can check out our podcast. New episodes are available every Thursday. Catch us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. That's Late Night Parents. The site is latenightparents.com.
Are you looking for a fun experience on the water with your family? Bring them to the Orlando Water Sports Complex, located off Highway 528 near OIA. The Orlando Water Sports Complex provides an experience you won't soon forget, featuring cable wakeboarding, as well as the Super Air Nautique G23, the world's best wakeboarding and wake surfing boat for guests to enjoy. For more info, visit actionparks.com. That's AKTIONPARKS.com. And tell them Full Court Press sent you.
We are back for the morning tip off here on Spreaker. 407-378-3717 is the number to call in. And we're talking for a few more minutes before we click out of here. Tonight's games. It's a short night in the NBA. 3 games on the schedule tonight. Let's go over those real quick. Atlanta, in the game of the night, is taking on the New York Knicks. Home opener for the Knicks. You know, they won last night. They won impressively and taking on the Hawks team that struggled in their opener against Detroit. Still trying to figure out rotation issues and trying to figure out how to use Dennis Schroeder, how to make up the loss with DeMar Carroll. You know, for me, the key for this game tonight, of course, is can Carmelo get his groove back? He struggled shooting from the ball, and I know the Knicks are not going to be able to do this every single night. So if they're able to do it, I think they'll be able to be fine. The only question with the Knicks is that going forward is that you look at guys like Porzingis and you look at Derek Williams and you look at these young guys. And for me, looking at this team, it's kind of frustrating to see the Knicks the way they are, but they have so much to be happy for. It's the first game of the season, and when you look at the Hawks, they're a team that won 60 games last season, and the way they played in opening night, they were not a 60-win team going forward. Looking at that, you know, with that way the game had played, shoot it out. Let's see. Still trying to get this whole caller thing going through. We have a call coming in. 919 is looking like it's not working caller in. So let's try it.
Dan, I'm on the line. It's Jay from Draftaholics.
This is our good friend Jay from Draftaholics. Jay, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Dan. How you doing?
Still technical difficulties with the debut show, but we're going to get it together. So those who don't know and those who are listening for the first time, Jay is our daily fantasy guide. He's going to tell you everything on who to